my love of writing, especially poetry, it's come from just being able to do it without any pressure of having to write for school, like for an assignment or being graded on it. Just that love of writing for the sake of it. That's where my passion is. Most young children, they think poetry is something that you do for school, that you get graded on, it needs to rhyme or it needs to be a certain way, and poetry can be anything. Poetry can be used to heal so many people, and it can bridge the gap between generations. So I think definitely the outreach of poetry is quite important.
Hello and welcome to this episode of Kurly Meets, and today we are privileged to have Japmeh Gujral, the young poet laureate of Birmingham. Welcome.
Hey. Good to be here.
Yes, so how do you feel? It's been almost your first year of being a young poet laureate. How's things been so far?
It's been good, it's been very exciting, definitely enjoying it.
Lovely, lovely. Well, we're going to ask you a few questions in a moment to delve a little bit deeper into your experiences thus far. But the first question I ask most of my guests is to do with your name. So does your name have a meaning, and if so, what does it mean?
So Japmeh, so it's made up of two words, Jap and Meh. And Jap means meditation and Meh means in. So my parents, they wanted something unique, so and then put it together. So my name means in meditation.
Beautiful. Wow, it's very thoughtful. I mean, I know like there's a pun there, I suppose, meditation, thoughts, but that's a very interesting name, yeah. So combining two words to create one, here you are. Amazing. So in terms of your origin story, you're 13 currently at this moment in time, at the time of this interview. You're about to hit year 9 in secondary school. So your origin story, how did you start out? What kind of got you into reading, writing in the first place?
So, I mean, reading, I've always been an avid reader. I've always had a love for reading. Writing, I mean, I did start off writing fictional stories. I loved creating things, creating my own characters and creating their stories. And I always say that poetry found me instead of the other way around. Because it felt like kind of at a time where my emotions were tangled, I couldn't really make sense of it. Poetry kind of gave me an outlet to put all of that on paper. It gave me a new perspective, and I could think of things with an open mind and look at things laterally.
Amazing, look at things laterally. Wow. So that's where you kind of remove yourself from the situation a little bit and look at it a bit more objectively. Interesting. So at what age were you kind of able to discern this?
So I think fictional writing probably started around 7, 8, and then poetry came quite soon after that. I mean, almost immediately. Yes.
So what are your earliest thoughts of reading? I know you said you've always been a reader. So what are your earliest memories of kind of reading? What was you reading at the time? Do you remember?
Reading, my earliest memory is I would always read before I went to bed. It was like a must to do. It was like, I'm not going to bed until I get to read, kind of thing. I mean, the first major books series that I read was Harry Potter. And I loved Harry Potter. I was obsessed with it for quite a while. I still do like it. Then I read the classic books as well. I mean, I will read anything.
Were you read to a lot before you?
I think when I was younger, yeah, definitely. I think my parents definitely read to me.
Yes. Because I understand your mum's quite a creative person as well, isn't she? So what was your mum into then? What was she?
So, I mean, my mum she's amazing at coming up with ideas. She's got a very special way of looking at things that I definitely admire and hope to inherit. She can look at things and see both sides of the story. She can think of it in two minds. That's really special.
Wow. I guess that, like you said that earlier on, being able to remove that step back from a situation and analyse it, and your mum having that two minds and that thing's different. Oh, interesting. Is she an artist? Is she in the arts, or was she a writer? Or?
No, so she's a doctor. But I know when she's younger, she did do music and everything. And she said that when she was younger, she was a reader too.
Brilliant. Wow, that's incredible. Because yeah, I think there's a lot to be said about, you know, those passions when you're young. Obviously you can go on to do other professional things, but you know, for your mum to talk to patients, I'm guessing, you know, practicing some form of art, expressing yourself, getting better at expressing yourself helps you to communicate with patients, I guess.
Yeah.
So these are like transferable life skills, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yes. And do you think writing is something that you're probably still going to continue to do outside of school?
I mean, yeah, for me, writing, my love of writing, especially poetry, it's come from just being able to do it without any pressure of having to write for school, like for an assignment or being graded on it. Just that love of writing for the sake of it. That's where my passion is, really.
Amazing. So I know you've almost completed your first year now of your tenureship of Birmingham, your young Birmingham Poet Laureate, which is amazing. What have been some of your highlights, do you think, over this year, or just your writing career in general?
So some of the highlights, I mean, every event that I've gone to has been special in its own kind of way. But I think one that's been quite close to my heart is I was invited back to my old primary school, Fields, and it felt amazing to give back to the school. I mean, I was there since I was probably like 2 years old.
Wow.
So I spent most of nursery there, and then all the way up until year 6, and I was happy to give something back to them and see children where I was a couple of years ago.
Was like the furniture really small when you went back? You know?
Yeah.
That's a weird, surreal experience, isn't it, when you go back? So, like, did you recognise teachers? Teachers recognised you?
Yes.
And what were they saying?
Yeah, I mean, my English teacher from Hallfield, she read some of my poems when I was there, and she always picked me up. So I'm very grateful to her, and I'm very grateful to all of Hallfield.
Big up Hallfield.
For doing that.
Oh, amazing. So, on the opposite end of the spectrum then, what have been some like challenges or low lights? So we've had the highlights, what have some of the low lights, would you say?
I mean, I've nearly done a year now, and I think I've been quite lucky. I haven't had any major lowlights as such, but I've had a couple of realizations when it comes to the things that I would like to change about poetry. Definitely the outreach of poetry. I think most young children, they think poetry is something that you do for school, that you get graded on, it needs to rhyme or it needs to be a certain way, and poetry can be anything, I like to say. It can be just a couple of words that you put together. I mean, it's your feelings, it's thinking the way you think. It can be anything, and I would love to be able to change that way of thinking. That's one realization I had. And another one, which is poetry can be used to heal so many people, and it can bridge the gap between generations. So I think definitely the outreach of poetry is quite important.
I'm just sitting here smiling to myself because I'm thinking, wow, what a custodian of the art form that you are at the moment, and look at where your trajectory seems to be heading. I think that the art form's in safe hands with young people like yourself at the helm, because those are two very pertinent, not destiny necessarily, but like purposes. That's a purposeful mission that sounds like you're on, you know, through this art form. So, well, we're here to help in any kind of way and support. So my next question is, like, despite these, you know, realizations that you've had, what have been some of your kind of insights that maybe you could share? Any words of advice or hints or tips as a poet or just a human being with ambitions anyway?
So as a poet, for me to anybody really, but especially to young people, is it to just write. Like, I feel like some people are scared of writing because they think it has expectations or it needs to go there. but my advice is to write about anything and everything. Whenever you're feeling something that you can't explain, just write about it. And it doesn't even have to make sense to anybody else around you. It makes sense in your own head, it can offer some comfort. You know, I think that is the main thing, people to just write. And some advice that I got from Jasmine Gujral, who's been like a mentor to me. She always says that if you're struggling to write, you have writer's block, kind of get in touch with your emotions and do a word splurge, right? Whatever words come to your head on the paper, then look at them and just think, you know, this is my head, this is what's going on in my mind, what can I do to sort that out?
Yeah, this is it, you know, because it's hard to like fix a puzzle when it's all still wrapped up in the packaging.
Yeah.
You know, you got to spread out pieces, you know, and then start putting it together, and then, you know, the overall picture of what the situation is can be more clearer, isn't it? So yeah, and words definitely help to do that, absolutely. And good like Alien, the guy that we spoke to a little bit earlier on, Richard Grant, who has been instrumental in many poets in Birmingham, you know, becoming poet laureates or poets, etc., and inspired a lot of writers. He was saying earlier as I warned about, it's a messy process, you know, so I think at the start, and then you can start making it neater, but yeah, just getting it down, definitely. I think that's a great bit of advice there. So is there any other thoughts, any other, like, before we leave, anything you might want to say, anything that you feel, it could be something. Tell us a bit more about your arts exchange, poetry exchange.
Yes. So something that I was thinking of doing in the very near future, it's called, I mean, the concept would be a poetry exchange, but it wouldn't actually just be for poetry. So a bit like a blog style, a writer, a poet, they could put a piece of their work, a poem, on like a blog. People could respond to it. They could say, you know, this poem really made me feel happy, or it really got in touch with this certain emotion. But then also maybe a musician or someone who likes to play piano or the violin, they could come along and be like, you know, when I was reading your poem, I thought this would sound really nice behind it. Or an artist could be like, you know, I was reading your poem and it just painted this picture in my mind and I wanted to share this. And it's a collaboration, it brings all the arts together. And I think when all the arts come together, we could be very, very strong.
Definitely. They say the sum is greater than the sum of its parts, and the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. And I'm sure creativity is like that. And with creativity, I think they say there isn't much originality. Everything is a hybrid of something else. You know, and when artists get together in a room, I think magic really does happen. So I think that's an incredible initiative to spearhead. So if you're interested in learning more about that, where can people find out more about your journey? Do you have any Instagram handles? Or?
Well, we are working on that, but I'm sure you'll be hearing about the poetry exchange very, very soon. Hopefully, maybe on your website.
Yes. We'll be promoting that here at Birimingham for sure.
Yes, and just very, very soon. Hopefully, type up poetry exchange or something should come up. Yes.
So look out for Japmeh Gujral, an incredible poet, force of good in the world, formidable young writer, and we look forward to seeing your developments with great interest. All right, Japmeh, thank you again so much for coming by. It's been a huge pleasure.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Japmeh Gujral, and I will be performing my poem, My Part in Your Music Sheet, Birmingham. The drumbeat booms beneath my feet, a rhythm forged in every street. It greets me wherever I roam, through paths and ways I've always known. Trips to Handsworth, Soho Road, a place where the Bhangra beat overflows, intertwined in the sari's red and bright, reconnecting me with my cultural light. Drums and spices tune the air, and in that moment, all is well, nothing to repair. The call to prayer, the mosque's strong plea, I pause to hear its melody. Synagogues sing and church hymns rise, their sacred tones clear in the skies. The Monday's pujas echo with grace, Guzwara's kirtans flow with a calming pace. Together, they quell the fears I chase. In the boring reggae's forceful flare, its vibrant pulse cuts through the air. Notes like sunlight reaching through the trees softens the tensions of my teenage unease. Each rhythm resonates in me so profound and turns turbulent times into soulful sound. Jewelry quarter where rock was forged, amongst the gems its legacy surged. Guitar strings slicing through the haze, drumsticks beating the harsh malaise. A soundscape crafted from industrial grit, dragging murky chaos into clarity's fist. Heavy metal has a fierce embrace, regained its echo from the Digbud space. Ozzy Osbourne's roar among factories' din revived the post-war symphony felt from within. Gives fire to my passion, lets flames burn and sing. Birmingham, your music sheet is ever so fast. It's an everlasting canvas where all our voices are cast. What lines could I add to your score? What melodies wait for me? What rhythms to explore? In each note, your legacy is the one I trace, for in my heart, it's your sonata's core. The drum beat pulses in me forevermore. Thank you. Hello, I'm Japmeh Gujral, and I will be performing my poem, The Tempest, with him. Storms are brewing every day. Beneath the awning of an angry grey sky, nature's tantrum and untamed grace, winds mutter in an ominous reply. Raindrops weave tales of alchemy, thunder roars, a primal symphony. In the atmosphere of turmoil, two figures emerge, tempers about to boil. Two politicians' words clash, the storm carried on, brought inside, a typhoon in a teacup, their words so brash. And a family watched the dispute on TV, squashed together, but not cosily. Another squall is coming, nobody's free. A domino effect, lies, cold and harsh. And this fight will carry on till dark. In a friendship, rage forms, someone's had a bad night, shouting till the first crack of light. Comes, takes it out, then another storm. The gale inside, a messenger, carrying her thought from mind to mouth. And when everything seems to be going south, they part ways, the room dull, dusty, damp, full of fight, and she felt as dark as a moonless night. That one friend can feel it brewing, she's had enough, everyone else is ruling. Her heart painted silver, sizzling whiles of thunder, people send from mouth to heart, they don't know the impact. An effect rolls out never to end, she asks herself again and again and again. Inside of her, a storm is brewing, never to end. Can she stop it or not? No, yes, I can't, I won't. For one fleet of a second, you reach the eye. The calm, tranquil eye of a storm. Only for a second. Until you go home, the sky is hurling down a punishment of cold silver rods. She walks past Parliament, covered black clouds coil and writhe. Another politician storms in, mouth ready like a scythe. The camera crew is outside, broadcasting live, working another storm, another fight. Tempests brewing in me, and tempests brewing you, and tempests will always be in our way, but let them come. And after the thunderous hum, a resurrection of a new dawn, and we will emerge from this tumultuous storm.